What's going on, guys? Patrick here from PatrickOnlineRealty.com. I'm here with my beautiful wife.
Hello.
Clarice. And yes, I did say wife. We actually just got married, and in proper fashion, we decided to
buy a house.
We bought a house. So this is gonna be a big project. We, trying to be a real estate investor here. I didn't want to buy a turnkey property. We wanted something where we could push some sweat equity into it. So we bought one of the cheapest houses in Kailua in the last year or so.
But not that cheap.
It wasn't that cheap because it is pricey out here. But the goal is to pump some sweat equity into it, fix it up, and then basically increase the value of it. So that is our end goal. So we're gonna have this series here to show you through our process, our journey. We just closed on the property, so we're gonna be having a couple different videos showing you not only how we found the property, how we analyzed it, the inspection process, how we did some tips and tricks on how we actually got our offer accepted, and the process of the actual construction, because there's gonna be a lot of it. And yeah, so come join us for the journey. Ready?
Let's do this.
Okay, guys, now this part of the series of the video, I'm actually gonna walk you through when I was first checking out this property. It was apparent that there was some work that needed to be done, but there were some obvious things and not so obvious things that I wanted to look at. We got some more information when we did the inspection, but I'm actually gonna walk you through how I look at a property and the things that I look at for when you're shopping for a property, especially if you're looking at a fixer-upper, because there's certain things that could be major red flags, things that could be way more expensive than you might even anticipate. So this will kind of give you an idea of that. So I'm just gonna basically turn the camera around, show you, and basically give you some commentary on some things that we noticed, ways we got over it, and some rough numbers of what you can expect to fix those things and how to fix those things. Okay, now this part of the video series, guys, like I mentioned, this is gonna not only show you how I looked at the property, but how you should always look at properties, whether they're fixer-uppers or not. These are some standard things you're gonna wanna do. I generally do this for my clients, but this is a good opportunity for you guys to learn as buyers how to look at a property. So I like to look at the exterior of it. There's certain things that are gonna be bigger and smaller than others. Obviously, we did see some patchwork here, and that could have been from whatever kind of damage, but in this situation, we slowly learned, and you'll see later that that was from termite damage. We even did some patchwork ourselves. And obviously it's not the prettiest job, but I'll show you why we did this. Even before we closed on the property and we owned on it, we actually pumped some money in to fix a couple things. That'll be a different video and a different strategy on why we did certain things like that. You're obviously gonna see on the windward side, on the other side of the house where it gets more of the windward breeze, there's a lot more paint chipping. This house was built, I believe, in the 50s, so it needed some love, right? And the one thing that you will see throughout the home, and this is what you wanna look out for, and keep this in mind, it's not if you have termites, it's how bad of termites do you have in Hawaii. So these are termite droppings. So just to give a reference of what they look like, they're generally gonna be clumped up in one area. When they're eating them, they start to drop in one area, usually in corners. We tend to see them a lot in trim because for whatever reason, it's a different type of wood. But that was the common theme we saw throughout the property. So as we were going through, I was also looking at some of the rafters. You can see here that these rafters were actually extended. So that's the original rafter for the roof. And then they just basically did these extensions here. I don't know if they're too structurally sound, but I wasn't too worried about it. I think our plan of action is actually to tear it out and redo it accordingly. But I'm looking at rafters. I'm looking for more damage, whether it's water or termite damage, as you can see here. And this seems to be all water, not termite. But those are all things I'm looking on the exterior. So as we go through, I also started to notice, some somewhat shanky work. Like, look at this. We have this beam here that's barely being held up. It's going all the way across. Again, not a big concern for me because I'm gonna be ripping these things out, but just things that kind of give you an idea of how certain things were done. We see that all the beams here look all pretty solid, except for that one. So that one looks like it's been patched up. We later discovered that there's a bunch of termite damage. We'll go inside so you can actually see it. But again, more termite damage, right? Now again, on the outside of the home, we can see that there's plenty of paint work that needs to be chipped. I'm not too concerned about that, not a big deal. We're gonna be redoing all the walls anyways, but these are things to keep in mind. I don't see this as a big deal. You literally can power wash it, sand it, and repaint it if you wanted to. We're gonna be doing bigger things, but again, we can see common themes throughout the property of more termite damage, right? And again, guys, every place has termite damage, it's just how much. Now, as I continue through the exterior, I'm looking, again, for more beams that have issues, like this one up here. Again, looks like wood rot. And then also, as I'm going through the property, I want to look underneath the house and look at what the plumbing situation is. So you can see here, this home, and the year that it was built, we can see that that's a cast iron. It has a plastic cap on it, but you can see that it's actually cast iron, which tend to only last about, you know, anywhere between 70 to 100 years. Just depends on the quality of it, but this one definitely is on its way out, and I can show you why, because this is my next step, is I like to look underneath the house. Now again, you can see the paint chipping on this side is really done some work here, but that's because of where the ocean is. The ocean is that way, so it's actually, wind is blowing and hitting this and just wearing a lot of wear and tear. But next thing I like to do is look underneath the house. So if we look underneath the house here, we actually can notice a couple things here. Let's see if I can actually show you. So look at this. That's a stack pipe, cast iron, completely disconnected, right? And we did our inspection, and we later saw that the plumbing is pretty much shot. You can see that that's a pipe that goes in the cast iron that's pretty much completely shot. So the plumbing is going to have to be redone completely. So right off the bat, you're looking at 20 grand to redo all the plumbing in here. Now, if the plumbing was, some of the plumbing inside was newer and that was the only piece, you could cut it, solve it. That could be a lot cheaper. But right off the bat, when I was looking at this, like, okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to redo all the plumbing. Now, another thing I can see underneath here, you see those little white things right there? They're basically wires connected to these plastic, or what I believe are ceramic. That is what we call knob and tube. These are exposed wires and how they used to do electrical back in the day. This can be a huge fire hazard. Insurance companies don't like it. Of course, you know, we're gonna be updating these things, but that once again told me, unless it had been updated, which I didn't think it did, we're gonna have to redo the wiring as well. So again, probably looking at another 20 grand just to rewire the entire place. So I'm starting to count these numbers in my head as I go through the property, and then keep in mind, later I'm gonna analyze what I think the property will be worth after it's all fixed up. I also like to look on the outside and see, do we have any rain gutters? There's no rain gutters here. Seems simple, but it is an important thing to do. Also seeing that some of the beams down below, all the beams look pretty solid. I also wanted to look underneath the house and see like the beams. This is built not on slab, which some people on the mainland are used to. This is what we call post and pier. This is where you basically have the house floating. I do like this style because, you know, you can get easy access to all the plumbing and the electrical, but sometimes if the, you know, ground or earth is shifting, you would have to basically jack up the house, which we're going to be doing in this house. But it's actually not too bad. You literally put it on a jack like a car, and then you just replace the beams. So there's a couple, and I'll show you inside the house where we're able to see that there's a little bit of sloping, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal to fix. Okay, so we did the exterior, basically just looking of the property, right? So now on the interior, the first thing I want to kind of look at, this home is all original. So obviously there's going to be a lot of work that's going to be needed, redoing the floors, redoing the kitchen, redoing the bathrooms. That's already understood that that's what we're going to have to do. So what I'm looking for is, okay, do we see additional termite damage inside? Do we see any termite damage in any of the major beams? Do we see any further plumbing or leaking issues? But we already know that we're going to be redoing all the plumbing. We want to look at the electrical, which I've already kind of discussed. We're going to be redoing the electrical anyway, so not too concerned about that. But if I was not going to do the electrical, I wanted to know how many breakers are still available, because if I needed to add a split AC unit, which we're going to be doing, all those things, you're going to want to know if you're going to have to update that breaker. So again, as we're going through the home, I'm just kind of looking for things. But again, we did clean up a few things prior to closing. Again, we'll make a new video, we'll make a different video series about that. But we did see a few termite damaged, if you can see here, termite damaged actual beams there, right? And same thing on this one here. You can see that right there, right? So this beam's gonna have to actually be replaced as well. So the dollars are starting to add up. And basically what we'd have to do there is we put a bunch of jacks here to hold the roof up, replace that beam, and it's done. But again, it's a lot more than just putting floors, paint, and even just cabinets and a countertop. We're talking about some structural stuff, we're talking electrical, we're talking plumbing. That's when things start to get expensive. So again, as we go through here, our plan of action is to actually remove this wall to open up the space, which is gonna be rad. We're gonna put a kitchen here. We're gonna actually utilize this space over here and split it up and use it as a separate unit so that we can actually rent this space out. We already are gonna have a separate entrance, which currently is right here, but we're gonna move it over there. And this is gonna allow us to bring in anywhere from $2,200 to $2,500 a month for rent. And then we're gonna be able to live in this space with our family. So again, as we go through, I'm just looking for Anything radical, of course, we already are gonna gut everything, so we know that, everything's gonna change in here. So really, I'm just kind of seeing how much more work, if there's anything that's gonna pop up other than what I'm already seeing. This is actually gonna be our master. So this bedroom, we're gonna actually be adding a bathroom. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this closet space that's here, push it out, and put a bathroom actually in there, which I've seen some of my clients do a lot, and I'm excited to do it myself. So we're actually going to push that out, put a master bathroom in there. We're gonna push this wall out and then create a closet, because for a legal bedroom, you do have to have a window and a closet. So we want to definitely do that. And my wife would kill me if we had a master with no closet. Then we have a couple extra bedrooms here. We got this tiny one that's gonna be utilized as an office. And again, it's got the original laminate, but again, we're just ripping all this stuff out. And then again, we've got the guest bedroom, which may actually be a baby's bedroom. We shall see. So yeah, and then I'm looking at this property, and again, what am I looking for? So you can see up here, this is actually black mold, or a mold of some sort. Again, I'm not too concerned about, we're gonna be ripping all this stuff out, but if you were buying a house and you've got children, or just bad, mold is not good at all, that would be something of concern if you were not planning on ripping this all out. And this is all what we call caning. It's basically built out of sugar cane. We're gonna remove all this and put fresh drywall. So we're doing a whole lot. So I was more concerned about what the dollars and cents are gonna actually cost to see if this deal actually made sense for us. It will be our primary residence, so there's a little bit of wiggle room on the cost and seeing what the spread would be, because we're not flipping it and we don't have these costs. We're planning on holding onto this property, living in this space, renting out that space. So we were a little bit better of a homeowner who's gonna live in it, investor, because investors generally are gonna look to flip the property, get it at the bare bones price, and then they've got additional costs when it comes to selling the property. So they have to have a good spread there. So that's pretty much it. So that is the walkthrough of how you look at a property, what you wanna look out for, things you wanna look into, and that's this part of the series. Woo, it's hot in here. So plan is to install some HVACs in here eventually, but we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff. So I wanna thank you guys for joining me on this journey. This is just one part of a lot of videos we're gonna be making in the next, hopefully only 3 to 4 months, because that's what the contractor said it'll take, but ongoing joke is usually double that when it comes to price and time, so we'll see. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did get any value out of this content, or if you're liking these videos, let me know. Put them in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever I drop new videos just like this. I'm Patrick, PatrickLongleyRealty.com, powered by eXp Realty. Hope you guys have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you soon.